Hello, everybody. That's Dave. I'm Bill. It's time for Can of Corn. This is episode 3. Dave, can you believe that we're already on episode 3? What happened with the time?
Hey man, it's that time of year. The days are shorter. It gets darker quicker. Before you know it, we're gonna be cutting the cake on episode 300. So,
Amen. So here's the funny thing, right? I've been talking to people in Texas. They're all talking to me about how it's getting colder. It's like 75 degrees here in California. We're expecting 80 degrees this week. I don't know.
hey, I mean, we're here right now. So, I mean, it's not necessarily time to pull out the parkas, but for us, with 100-degree summers, 68, that hell, that's we'll take that. That's winter. You know.
Yes, exactly. So you and I got a ton of topics to go through today, and I cannot wait to go through this. So Dave, lead us off. Let's talk about pitchers that are on the free agency market and or are going to be traded. Oh, okay. Shohei Ohtani aside, we get it. He's a free agent. He's going to sign with one of the 30 teams. We're not quite
I
sure
mean,
which one. Forget Shohei, right?
yeah. If he's not pitching next year, he doesn't go into this topic. Simply,
Okay.
we're talking
So
about
talk to me
pitchers.
about trade candidates and pitchers.
Okay, now I'm going to keep this straight to the cuff, and I'm not going to mention the Astros' needs and who I want to be an Astro first. I'm going with who I think is probably the biggest uh, pitching free agent that would be out there, and that's the Tampa Bay Rays, Tyler Glasnow.
Yes. Yes.
He's young. He's proved himself, and it's time for somebody to back the truck up. Um, and the Rays haven't necessarily proven to be the team that will stick by young players and try to, once they've gotten the initial juice out of the berry, they've been quick to move along. I don't know, man. He's good. He's got a high 90s heater, a couple of breaking balls that I mean in that and age, you can't. It's hard to go in there with two pitches. But I see a couple of National League Central foes going. I can see the Cardinals and the Cubs going in a bidding war for this guy. Um, as much as I hate to say it too, if the Rangers continue to just open the purse, they're going to be losing one of their studs this year anyway. So that would be perfect for them to retool with the guy that I've said that's my go-to guy. Who are you talking about?
Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, young kid. The White Sox seem to just be stupid when it comes to this stuff. They just seem to be unloading and not getting a lot of stuff back. Been reading a lot of articles lately. You and I both know that I hate trade rumors. I hate rumors. Um, but it looks like Dylan Cease is going to be a Dodger here at some point, um, along with Corbin Burns, which is insane. Because here's my problem, Dave.
Yeah,
You get Corbin Burns, um, you get Walker Buehler back, you get Corbin Burns, you get Dylan Cease. That's great, right? Then you got this young kid, Bobby Miller, right? And then in addition to that, you got this young kid, Emmett Sheehan. You got this young kid, Ryan Pepio. Awesome. Problem is they're all right-handed. You've got to get a lefty in there, and Clayton's not going to pitch until July or
yeah,
August.
yeah,
So you got to get a lefty in there.
yeah. I'm hoping he will find his way into the lovely orange jerseys here in Houston. I'm hoping Dana Brown backs the truck up. Him, Blake Snell, they're basically on the same thing. We all know that Chicago's GM has basically said that nobody is untradeable, so it should get interesting. Um,
So
and
so
then
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. It's the Chicago non-tendered, I believe, Tim Anderson. Would you take Tim Anderson on your club and send Jeremy Pena to the trade market, or would you prefer to keep Jeremy Pena over Tim Anderson?
I'm keeping Pena. I think the regression will be capped this year, and I think he will go on to be. And this isn't just the Astro and me talking. The kid's got talent. You know what I mean? He's proven it. He's a defensive asset, and that is what is kind of uncoachable. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Leagues. And the kid has proven it on the biggest stage that he can do it. He can make the catches. He can make the plays. He can think fast. His baseball IQ is high. Not a lot of errors with the kid. And he's been homegrown now. You know what I'm saying? I'm old school. I'll age myself. I was reading the latest issue of Sports Illustrated. Yes, I still get printed media. All right. Save the newspapers. Go buy a newspaper. Get a magazine. I know a bunch of writers that would thank you. But yeah, you know, it's we don't need to spend money on that. We don't need to shake the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think selling at this point would just be kind of a panic play, and I don't think it's time to panic yet.
No, I agree with you. I'm just, you mentioned Chicago. To me, it's so funny because, listen, if you're going to square up for a fight, you can't get knocked out, and then you can't lose that game too. So, I mean, Tim Anderson, great. He was good for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, but after that, man, you square up for a fight, you better not get knocked out. So, stay in your weight class, Timmy. Stay in your
Like
weight
Mike
class.
Tyson said, everybody has a plan. Yeah, yeah. Well, like Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. You know, so
Exactly. Exactly. So talk to me, change gears on me here for a second. Talk to me about rule changes. Obviously, there was a ton of stuff that happened this year. Some of it drove me nuts. Some of it didn't drive me nuts. But talk to me about rule changes. How do you think it affected the game? And what do you think it's going to do to 2024? I mean, this is a hot topic that I get asked all the time. So I need Big Dave's wisdom. You're smarter than I am.
okay. I don't know. This may be the first time I've publicly said this. I'm not necessarily a fan of I'll digress. I won't get anything further than that. But he seems to have taken this speeding up the game a little bit too far. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all for shortening games, but realistically, how we haven't been shortening games that would make that much of a difference. The early leavers are still leaving early. The hardcore fans are staying for the full nine. You know what I'm saying? And you know the drinkers are staying now too because they're COVID. Um, but I just think that you are deteriorating the quality of the game in efforts to speed it up. You're making pitchers make, you know, uncharacteristic decisions or you know, pitchers are a fickle sort. They're very routine oriented. You know what I'm saying? I'm pitching on this day. I've had this many days rest. You know, when you start our own guy, Luis Valdez here, you know, rocking the baby, you know, and just the time clock put the constraints on you where it means something. You could cost, you know, a strike in a big count. You know, that's not good. I don't know. You know, I get what they're trying to do. Baseball can get a bit boring for the non fanatic, but come on, man, don't not for the sake of making the play worse on the field.
No, I agree with you, man. It's to me, so I wrote down a couple statistics. Okay. 1982, Ricky Henderson steals 130 bases. 1983, he steals 108. Vince Coleman steals 110 in 1985. Yeah, 83, I'm sorry, and 109 in 85. Okay, so we're going back to making the game faster, which I'm okay with that. But do it because the players do it, not because rules dictate that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like the old adage,
Yes.
right? If you look up the 13 colonies when they came into existence, their state constitution averaged 2 pages. That's how much regulation they had. 2 pages.
Yeah.
The 49th and 50 states that came in, the average was 119 pages for their state constitution. Because now we got to tell everybody what to do. Stop it. Let the game be played. You and I played the game growing up. We played wiffle ball in the backyard. We understand. And it's not over the line. Kids don't have to. These guys don't have to play 3 innings to get one at bat. Come on.
Base plus years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to tinker with it. That is the essence of the game. You know what the best part about watching a baseball game on a lazy day of summer is that you could fall asleep 3 times and wake up and still watch the end of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Concentrate more on rule changes that I think would be beneficial to the game. The runner's lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad there is no more interpretation. Dirt is good, grass is bad. It's simple space that all the dirt, and then it's just known. There's no interpretation. There's no calling it on the play. It's how many plays do we have this year came into effect?
Yeah. No, I mean, I joked around with a number of people that and I'm like, at some point we're gonna let everybody play 3 innings and everybody get one at bat. That's kind of the direction that we're going. We're going Little League style at this point, right? Because I mean, can you imagine Nomar with all of his stuff that he used to do? Like, he'd get called out before he even got a pitch for pitch clock violation.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was the fun of the game, right? I mean,
you grew up imitating that. You know what I'm saying? Kids in the Sandlot were doing that. You know what I mean? I was getting the extra pine tar, from the hat and sticking it. Like, I don't know. Shout out to Bagwell and his horrible batting stance. Kids, don't bat like Bagwell. I love Baggy. Baggy, if you're watching, I love you. Big Dave loves you. But that stance was horrible.
There you go. No, I agree with you. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out of winter meetings and what comes out between the MLBPA and the league office and what kind of changes they make. Do they make the pitch clock a little longer? The disengagement rule? I mean, honestly, can you imagine Jackie Robinson having the 2 disengagement rule? He'd sit there and dance around, get you to disengage twice, and then they tried to pick off, he'd be at second.
Yeah.
He'd be at third.
I mean, he did that already, and then now you're going to give him the advantage, It's
crazy. Yeah. All right. So let's, Dave, you and I talked about this offline. What would be fun to do? And let's give it a whirl tonight. Let's do our best. Let's go division by division, and let's look at things as what's the biggest offseason question marks versus like maybe what do these teams need type thing. So let's start with the American League West because that the best. And let's start with the Astros. And what do you think that they need, or what are their biggest question marks in the offseason?
Well, I think going into the offseason, the $1 million question was who is going to replace Dusty Baker. We got that knocked out. Joe Espada is the guy. Danis came in, has already said that Yanier Diaz will be the starting catcher. We're moving on from Maldonado. I think it boils down to we've got some people that we're going to either re-sign or we're going to lose next year. So the window is closing on this dynasty era. Yes, I said dynasty. Don't at me. Just keep it. You know what I'm saying? But who's going to play third base for the Astros? Bregman is in the last year of his deal. He's 30 or 33. I'm not sure. Bregman fans, y'all fill in the blanks there. Nevertheless, he's not getting any younger. And while he is a fan favorite and a perennial all-star, he did have, by Bregman standards, an off year.
Yeah.
A sub par post in there, but we didn't have that swaggy Bregman, from 17 and 22. Do we go ahead and pull the trigger on a trade while there's still some interest, or while we could get value for him? I don't know. I still think we have to get a solid ace in the battery. I'm not sure, if Framber folded under the, he's a highly emotional guy and tends to pitch on emotion, and we don't have that lockdown like Correa would be able to calm him down. I've spoken on that, but yeah, definitely. Who's playing third base? We've got to either re-sign that, and we've got to get a pitcher. I mean, other than that, the lineup's good. The Astros will still be in it, so y'all got another season to hate us.
No, 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 no. With in the Astros kind of card, I'll say, um, they are getting older, just like the Yankees, just like the Dodgers, but they're not done yet. They're not done yet. Now, if they don't start getting younger, if they don't start bringing in younger talent, in 4 or 5 years, you guys might hit that skid where it's the playoffs are long gone, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you still
The
have,
rebuild,
yeah, you
the
still
dreaded,
have
the
the
dreaded.
petrol in the tank. So, talk to me about the Rangers.
You know, I have to. Sorry, I almost threw up there a little bit. Give credit where credit is due to the champion South Oklahoma Rangerettes, whatever. Okay. Yeah, you won. You spent big. You bought yourself a title. Wish you could have bought yourself a decent parade. Maybe you'll get used to it there. I think it's somewhere on the same lines of of the Astros. Testing 1 2. Who's going to play third baseman? Matt Chapman was a fielding plus in the hot corner, but he's a free agent going. I think he's 30. He's kind of like the same position as Bregman there. So, I, I'm not sure. Actually, I've misplaced my notes on this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, of course you did. The Rangers, the Rangers have a lot of early potential. They've got a lot of young kids. So what they're doing right now is they're retooling. They're taking some veteran leadership and trying to build around. There's a card game I used to play where there was four different titles that you had. You had the highest title can demand of the lowest title to play a certain card. So if you had it, so basically if you were at the lowest end and you could never get to the highest end unless the person at the highest end just kind of messed up. And so once you get to the playoffs, as you've seen with the Dodgers, the Braves, the Astros, the Rangers, it's hard not to get back there again unless you have a really bad season. Seattle. Talk to me about Seattle real quick.
The Mariners they pulled a move. Was it yesterday that had me
Yeah,
scratching my head a little bit? Those guys are right there. They're on the cusp.
yeah,
They made some noise last year. They I won't even say overachieved, man. They've been doing this for a while. They've been young and getting good. Big bat. They need the Rangers proved this year that having that big pop. I mean, like Jordan, you got a guy that you can get on. If you get runners on, can potentially make a huge splash in an inning. You know what I'm saying? When you can put a crooked letter up in an inning, it's always easier to win. Do they go ahead and they have the pitching, they have the fielding. Do they pull the trigger on a big bat, a DH, or do they? There's some guys out there.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they're freeing up cap space to go big or what, but it just had me scratching my head.
Me too. Me too. They are one player away, and I don't know who that player is, but they're one player away of not only making the playoffs, but going deep in the playoffs. They had you guys up against the ropes in 2022. Don't tell me that you went in there thinking, hey, this is going to be a series. This is going to be relatively easy, but it wasn't.
Never a doubt for a
Oh,
second.
please. And
We
like
knew
the
it was we swept them. We swept them. Swept.
you swept them, but yeah, in the
Hey,
27th inning, you got the one home run.
this is a perfect time for me and the rest of Astro Nation to throw out a heartfelt thank you to you for the acquisition of Yordan Alvarez, because yes, Yordan saved our bacon. That was definitely a game-changing, series-changing home run, which, the rest is history. But yes, thank you, Dodgers, Dodger Nation, Ben Scully, anybody. Thank you, Tommy Lasorda. Thank you all for that beautiful outfielder DH, Yordan Alvarez.
So I'm going to wrap the last two up in the West together. A's and Angels, both are struggling mightily. A lot of people out here in SoCal want Shohei back, and I want to scream at the top of my lungs, the Shohei Trout experiment has not worked. It's been there for 5 years. They haven't made a playoff. They haven't won a playoff series since Mike Trout has been an Angel, which goes back 12 years. You've got to. So, how much do you want? Do you want a ring, or do you want to be able to show up and watch Mike and Shohei? What is it that you want? I mean,
it's almost poetic justice that they will definitely have a long rebuild there in Los Angeles, Anaheim, Angels in the outfield, wherever they play now, for wasting the career of Mike Trout. You know what I'm saying? AL West or not, the kid Mike Trout was a phenomenon and just festered and away. And Otani's getting out of there as soon.
Yep.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. It's a rebuild. I mean, it is what it is. That's what they get. And they should have traded Otani and got something for him when they had the chance.
Yeah. That's what I was screaming.
God bless
Trade
Ace
Otani.
fans.
That's what I was screaming. Trade Otani, but nobody was listening to me. So
get something for him. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
And then the A's, like I said, God bless A's fans. I was a Houston Oilers fan. Team's leaving. It stinks.
Yep. And it's not only do you have that as a scenario or a bad scenario, right? A's are going to have trouble signing people because why sign? Why sign when you don't know A, what your management style is going to be, and B, more importantly, when do you go to Vegas? Okay, that can answer the question. But again, if you're 27 years old and you're kind of in the middle of your career, so to speak, do you want to raise your kids in Las Vegas? Is that where you want to be? I mean, of course, the question is who wants to raise their kids in Oakland, but whatever, right? So, okay, two other topics I want to jump to because I like that. And we still got to get to our off the record topic. So, all right, one other topic. I think I proved this. I think I proved on Monday mornings in the leagues that 3,000 hits may or may not happen again, with the exception of maybe Manny, maybe Jose Altuve, maybe Freddie Freeman. And I believe you were on there listening to that in the leagues. You have to agree with that assessment. Would you agree?
Yes, it's players. The longevity of a career is shortened. People are throwing harder. Pitchers, they don't last the way they do. You're not getting complete games anymore. I mean, when a complete game, guys were going out there throwing 9, 10, 11 complete games a year, and the innings just rack up, the strikes rack up. And you're putting yourself, the longer you pitch in the game, the better you are, the better position you are to win the game. So,
So let me ask you this question. If you had these four categories to choose from, which record gets broke first? Joe DiMaggio's, Joey D's 56 or 56 hits, 56 game hitting streak, batting average of 406, Ted Williams, right? Stolen base record, we're going to use Ricky Henderson, 1982 record of 130, or Barry, I never took steroids Bonds at 73 single season home run. Where are you at?
man, that is tough. I'm gonna do process of elimination on this.
Okay.
400's not happening. I don't think. I mean, you've got to. So many things have to go right for you to amass that many hits. You know what I'm saying? You have to play. Like I said, we go back to players not playing enough. But yeah, I just think that's something that I'm not going to see anytime soon. 73 homers. God, that's an insane number. Like nobody's even gotten close and since it happened. I think that's safe with Barry. Again, injury and these heavy hitters have proven that Jordan, is a big guy and he, you strain an oblique and so I take that off of it. This is close for me. I think the stolen base record would be the second most likely, but I don't see it as happening. Just realistically, they're making it so much harder on on base runners. Pitchers pickoffs moves are even better. But and then the rule changes happen. So now I would say it's possibility. But again, in the baseball metrics era, I don't see people stealing as much as I used to. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just not stealing bases here in Houston. But I get excited when I see hit streaks. And I don't know why. I think 56, although, I mean, it's 2 months of hitting, you know what I'm saying? A base hit for 2 months. But I just think that's realistically somebody could get had. You can go 1 for 3, and just belt out a hit here and there and make it happen. So yeah, I'm a lean on the 56 hits, but if they keep changing the rules, the stolen base record could fall.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for me. I'm gonna go stolen base record, and I'll tell you why. So if you look at analytics, Dave, game 6, Philly steals 1 base, Arizona steals 4. Arizona wins.
Yeah.
Game 7, Arizona steals 4 bases, Philly steals 0 and loses. The teams that are looking for the 5-run home run are gonna get beat now.
Yeah.
It's just straight out and straight up. You got to look to your young kids to move. I can't for the life of me, Dave. For the life of me, I can't understand why the fastest man on the planet right now, Trey Turner, does not have 75 stolen bases, especially with these rule changes. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, what the heck is going on? Right? And so
and it goes back to, we've said this so many times on every time we talk, get them on, get them over, get them in.
Yep.
It's but like I said, with the rule changes and limiting a pitcher's ability to feint and maybe guys and there are some prolific base runners, don't get me wrong. Like I saw a couple of guys this season that were just, it's not even fair.
Yeah. No, Corbin Carroll's amazing. 53 stolen bases. What did Acuna end up with? What did Ruiz end up with in Oakland? Like between those 3 guys, you had what, 200 stolen bases?
Yes.
I mean, just 3 guys. And so you got to move. You got to get to that point where you're moving them through. Okay. For those of you Canna Corn followers and watchers, we are to the end. We are going to give you our off the record topic. This has been a great episode. We've broken down a bunch of stuff for you. Here's the off the record topic. Who just World Series, not playoffs, just World Series. Who is the better hitter? Tio Albert, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, or apparently the best Astro to ever play the game, according to Dave, Jose Altuve. So, Dave, you lead out on this. I got numbers right here, but you lead out on this and you tell me what you think.
I got numbers here too. And shout out to Mighty Mouse. I love me some Jose Altuve. Yes, he will go down as the greatest Astro of all time. He will get to 3,000 hits. He's one of probably only 3 people that are going to be able to get close to it. I'm going to be real here. I'm only throwing that in there just to play. Will go down as potentially the greatest home run hitter of all time. I think we've got a few more left in him. He's genuinely been a great postseason hitter. Just ask the Aroldis Chapman. That's why Chapman. I hear Chapman signing with the Astros on the condition that he doesn't have to throw batting practice to Altuve. So, but yeah, to me, it comes down to Tio Albert and Reggie, and I love Reggie. Reggie's been with the Astros organization here for the last couple of years as a mentor and an advisor. I've met him on a couple of occasions. Great guy. I mean, down to earth, dude. Didn't have to talk to me when he did. Went out of his way to make me feel, accommodated. Answered my questions, and the documentary on, I think it's Hulu, or is it Hulu?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
it's
Hulu.
phenomenal. If you ain't watched it, go watch Reggie. But I mean, the man became iconic on 3 swings, 3 homers, 1 game. Somebody else did that recently here. But as much as I hate to say it, because I hated him in St. Louis, we get out of the American League, and what does he do? He goes to the Angels. And I hated him in Anaheim or Los Angeles or the city of Anaheim or the city of Los Angeles, whatever it was, just wouldn't leave us alone. And then he goes and signs with the Dodgers. Oh my God. That his total line, though, let's be real. Uncle Albert was a phenomenal hitter and would turn it on. And it seemed like you just knew that he was going to go yard. You just knew, and it never failed. I don't know why they hang so many pitches. Maybe they're stressed out or whatever, but it seemed like they would just throw these pancakes right up there and he would just clean them up. He hit one in the 05 Chip Series that would still be going if the roof was open in Minute Maid.
Yeah. No.
I got to go with Pujols on this. The greatest World Series hitter of all time.
Yeah, this one's tough for me.
Like I said,
Sorry,
no slant on Reggie, but yeah.
Yeah. This one's tough for me because I look at Jose Altuve as a really good postseason hitter. He doesn't jump out at me as a World Series killer, but he does getting you to that. And that's hard for me to say, right? Whether he stands on a box or not. He is a very good postseason hitter. You got a little salt in the wounds because Tio Albert ponied up every time he was playing Houston. Like he said, I got this. Watch this.
Every time.
Yeah, every single time. And so I get that. Now, but I'm going to go with Reggie on this because Reggie, for some reason, when he was in the postseason, he was in the postseason. When he was in the World Series, that was his stage. As much as I hate the 77 World Series because it's against the Dodgers and the 78 World Series, but forget those two. Look at what he did in the 74 series with the A's. Look at what he did in the 81 series with the Yankees. Look at what he did in the 77 series, in the 78 series. Um, I mean, the big games did not bother him. In fact, the exact opposite. The big games made him
They
excited.
didn't call him Mr. October for nothing.
No, no. Now, does he hit that many home runs in the postseason? Uh, if he doesn't have the short porch in right field with the Yankees, we'll see. But yeah, yeah, definitely, totally
You
get it.
got to give him credit too, because Billy Martin really didn't like him.
No,
So
he did
I
not.
think a lot of that was just the F you to Billy,
Yeah,
You can't sit me. You can't, go ahead, let New York fry you, So,
yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here.
No,
Um, Altuve fans will beg to differ. However, mark my words, the man still got more World Series games to play. And last time I checked, Reggie ain't picking up a bat, and Albert just left the building. So
yeah,
there's hope.
no. Listen, you don't go wrong with these three guys. There's no place to go wrong with these three guys. As much as that pains me to say, it you don't go wrong with these three dudes. You also can't. Two of the three of them are already well, one of them's Hall of Famer, one of them's a first ballot Hall of Famer. If
Yeah.
Albert doesn't get on the first ballot, then I need to
They
have some
need to
conversations with
change.
sports writer. Yeah,
Yeah, they need to change the format if Albert's not in there on the first ballot.
yeah, yeah. And then Altuve, the only question on his first ballot status will be, 2017. Does he get in? Here's my thing. I I honestly think Altuve gets in. I just don't think he gets in on the first ballot. I think that they make him wait a year just as kind of a quote unquote punishment, and he gets in the second year. But whether you get in the second year or the 10th year doesn't matter. You're in, right? It doesn't change.
Yeah.
Ask Burt Blyleven that. Doesn't matter when you get in.
No, I definitely think there will be the shame on you. Maybe even the first two. It would not surprise me. I think though that the stats are there. I mean, but baseball writers are a fickle bunch.
They're a very fickle bunch.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're a very
Yeah.
fickle bunch. But
Um.
yeah,
Honorable mention.
yeah.
I will give a shout out to Big Poppy David Ortiz, because he had a couple of World Series showcases where the world found out who the Yankees daddy was.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the Yankees, but after that, when he went on, he was on a tear that year.
I I also will tell you that um, another honorable mention is Derek Jeter. I mean,
Yeah, we already had the one Yankee on there. Look, you could
yeah.
fill a list up with Yankees on here. Yogi Berra was one of
Mhm.
the most underrated baseball players of all time. Okay. Y'all understand how good Yogi was. And he will still, to his last breath, say that. I love that he stood his ground. Go watch. There's another. I saw a
It
documentary
ain't over.
recently.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. It ain't over. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, shout out to Yogi Berra. Yeah, like I said, you could fill a list up with Yankees, just because hell, they've been there
Yeah.
27 wins, whatever.
Yeah, 30 some odd times, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, Dave, I agree with you, man. It's hard, but these three players that we talked about are not, when you think of great ball players in the World Series, we selected three of them that aren't going to come to your name right away. Yogi will come to your name right away. Um, Whitey Ford will come to your name right away.
Yeah.
Chipper Jones. I mean, well, it depends on what era you're talking about, but Chipper Jones, maybe
Well,
Greg Maddux,
oh,
Tom Glavine,
you could go Mickey, you could go Gehrig, Babe, DiMaggio, the Duke, but I just wanted to keep it a little bit for the older folks like me and you, and for these younger guys that and for the Astros fans. Go Astros.
Don't worry, the Dodgers. Don't worry, Dodger fans. We'll get you. We'll get some love in there. Don't worry.
Hey, you know what? I love Kirk Gibson. I've said this before. My first pro fitted hat was a Dodger hat. Um,
Kirk
that
Gibson.
that's the there's the little bit of trivia. Kirk Gibson with his bad leg and all, and
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
the incomparable Vin Scully. Who doesn't love Vin Scully?
Who doesn't love Vinny?
That's
Well,
right.
we got to wrap this up. We've been talking to you for 40 minutes, and I love every minute of it. But we're going to wrap this up. So, Dave, shout out to you. Any shout outs that you want to make on this show today? Anybody you want to give a little love to?
I want to shout out to my brand new grandbaby Mia. My family just got bigger, so I'm gonna take the opportunity. Shout out, baby girl. Grandpa loves you. But man, look, it's the baseball off season. I've never been so excited about winter meetings in my life. But tune in, push that subscribe button. This is the first place you can see Can of Corn, and then exclusively only at the locker room. Okay, so go to TopFanRivalry.com, use the code Big Dave, save 10% on your locker room access, because you get a couple of weeks to watch it here on YouTube, and then after that, it goes to the vault.
Goes to the vault. It's like Disney, right?
Okay,
you get to see it a little bit just like on Disney, and then
see,
they take it away.
They calling the laws on us because that's right. See, you heard the sirens. You know what I'm saying? They're calling the laws on us because this deal is too good to pass up. It's almost like you're stealing it from us. Okay, that's right. Use the code Big Dave, BIGDAVE, TopFanRivalry.com. Get your locker room access now.
Perfect. And for me, shout outs to everybody. This is the Top Fan community. I got to tell you, Dave, I have usually the winter time is kind of the we've been planning Fan Fest like crazy. Fan Fest is just a couple of weeks away. And then after that, I think we might be in San Antonio. We got spring training right after that. Before you know it, boom, we're in March. And yeah, it's back to baseball time, right?
That's right. You can almost smell the fresh cut grass.
Almost smell the fresh cut grass. And Dave, I might be able to get you an extra ticket. I think I'm going to be going to opening day at Globe Life to see some people get some jewelry. I can get you an extra ticket. Do you need it? Would you like it?
I'm good, bro. I'm straight. I don't want to catch a rash or something, or get stuck in that awesome parade route. I'd hate to get stuck in the traffic jam that all 7 trailers and pickup trucks caused.
I love it. All right, Big D. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll do this again for you next week. Like I said, subscribe, send this to a buddy, send this to a friend, whatever. If you want to be on a guest on Can of Corn, let us know. Either I am Dave on Instagram, or I am Top Fan Rivalry, or you can I am Megan.TopFanRivalry. She's our marketing person, and she'll get you on the show. No problems. We're going to start getting guests that are going to come in throughout the time. So let's enjoy. All right, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Also, one more thing.
Yep.
If you've got any questions or topics that y'all want to hear us talk about, put them in the comments section. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you guys want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hear me and Bill argue Astros Dodgers, no problem.
Yep. I mean, listen, we both won the same amount of things this year. Nothing. Early trips to the golf course.
We both went with no World Series title this year, asterisk or not. So exactly. That's the best thing about opening day is everybody's got a chance, man.
Everybody's got a chance. All right, Big D, we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you, man. Y'all be cool.